Hi, it's Wednesday, so we're baking. Today we're making frosted pumpkin cookies. I have our oven preheating at 350 degrees. And we're gonna start by creaming the butter and the sugar. We're using 1 cup or 2 sticks of unsalted butter, softened room temperature, and 1 cup of sugar. I'm gonna use a hand mixer to cream this, and we're gonna work on this for about 3 minutes. Extension cord. So that's been creaming for about 4 minutes now. It's nice and fluffy. Next we're gonna add our baking soda and our baking powder. It's a teaspoon of each. We're gonna add directly to that butter sugar mixture, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Then our pumpkin pie seasonings. For this recipe, we're using 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, and then just a pinch of nutmeg and a pinch of clove. Next, we're going to add our vanilla and our egg. I, as a general rule, always crack my egg into a separate container and then add it to my recipe, just because if there is a piece of shell or if there's something that kind of doesn't look right about the egg, I haven't ruined the rest of my ingredients. So we'll add those and combine them. After we add each ingredient and combine it, I just kind of scrape down the sides of the bowl with the spurtle so that everything is combined really well. And next we're going to add our pumpkin. This is 1/2 of a small can of pumpkin, so 7.5 ounces. I use my kitchen scale to measure it out, and then I just kind of fold this in with my spurtle. So once that's nice and combined, we're going to add the flour last. We use 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and we're going to sift this as we add it in. So just pour a little bit into the sifter. When you combine your flour this way, really gently folding with the spurtle and sifting, you wind up with really nice, fluffy, cakey cookies instead of kind of dense, hard hockey pucks. You can see how fluffy and airy it is because you folded everything in. That's it. We have a baking sheet lined with parchment, and we're going to weigh out on our kitchen scale 2 ounces of cookie dough for each cookie. It's a really wet dough, you'll see, and kind of soft and fluffy, and you want to maintain that fluffiness. It really does a lot better if you're not scraping it into a scoop or a measuring device and then scraping it back out. So just set it on the scale and play around with it a little bit until you have 2 ounces, and then just like delicately place your pile on the cookie sheet. and they're ready to go in the oven. Our cookies have been in the oven for 12 minutes now, and let's see how they look. They look perfect. They're fluffy and not wet on top, soft. I can't wait to get some frosting on these. So just take them off. You don't have to let them cool first, but they are delicate. This long paddle spurtle is perfect for getting these delicate cookies off the pan. And these have to cool completely before you ice them. We're going to start our frosting by melting some butter and brown sugar on the stove. We're using 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter and a 1/4 cup packed of brown sugar, or if you're using your kitchen scale, that's 61 grams. And we're going to let that melt. These silicone spurtles are perfect for this kind of high heat work on the stove where you're melting sugar. You don't want just the butter to melt, you want the sugar to start to melt too, so that you don't have all those crystals in your frosting. But once it does start to melt, it's like almost a caramel that you're adding to your frosting. It's really, really nice. You can see now when we pull the spurtle through this brown sugar butter, it doesn't really leave crystals on the bottom of the pan. That's when you know your brown sugar is melted enough, and we'll take it off the heat. Once our brown sugar and butter has had a chance to cool a little bit, we're going to add that to a large bowl. These spurtles are really nice for cleaning out your pan. Then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of milk and up to 2 cups of powdered sugar. To frost these cookies, just get a little bit of frosting on your mini silicone spurtle and gently spread it. The cookies are soft, so you don't want to press too hard, and you definitely don't need to worry about having them look perfectly smooth or clean. Just gently spread with your mini silicone spurtle enough on there that it looks relatively covered. And we're going to sprinkle these with cinnamon at the end and give them a beautiful, beautiful finishing look. Then once they're frosted, you're going to take your fine mesh strainer and sprinkle the cinnamon on the cookies right through the strainer. And you'll see it really highlights the beauty of the frosting, and it adds an amazing last touch of flavor. They're good.